He said, run the bases how you want them run for you. And it's like there's a real selfless act to run those bases as hard for someone else as you want them to be run for you, or you would run them for yourself. And so you want David Wright on first base if you need to score a run from first. If you got 99 RBIs and this 100th RBI gets you there and gets your team the pennant or the division, you want number 5 at first base trying to score.
Jay Horwitz, latest edition of Amazing Conversation with TV announcer, former player, good friend, Daniel Murphy. Let's talk about Robiverse, okay, Murph? July 19th, David Wright Day, number retired, Hall of Fame. You're going to be in the booth with Gary Cohn, critiquing your former teammate. How's that going to be for you?
Well, I don't know how much I'll have to critique. I think that's the funny part. I thought, Jay, good to see you again. Thanks for having me. Was that yeah, David's going to get an entire day, obviously well deserved, but it's the last thing he would ever ask for. But we're going to make him take it no matter what. And it'll be really an awesome celebration. And having Gary, being able to get in the box with Gary, I know he's going to be able to tee me up in a way to really sing the praises of David. Because I just each time I think back of how much he did for me and how much I know he did for everyone else. If he treated everyone else around him the way he treated me and how much he cared for me and tried to help me and our family, then I know he did that for everyone around him. So again, not to mention like best third baseman I've ever seen.
But what was your first impression? Like you were drafted in '06. He had been here in Memphis 2 years. I guess you met him in spring training a year or two before then.
Yeah,
What do you remember
David.
the first
Yeah.
time you met David?
I mean, the first thought was when I got drafted is like I'll never get to play third base for the New York Mets, so I'm gonna have to find another position. And then I think they were it was David and Willie Randolph, and I think they might have been head down the Dominican. It would have been like January of 2007, if I'm not mistaken. And we all came in. I say we. There was a mini camp, and I got a chance to be in there with David and some of our other minor leaguers. And I remember one time, or that trip, that he said something that stuck with me, which I don't think I ever did, but he wanted to drive in 100 runs and score 100 runs. And I just remember listening to that and really kind of soaking on it and thinking, man, he wants to do what he can for the team to win. You know what I mean? I want to drive him in and I want to touch home plate for someone else. And so that was my first memory of him. It wasn't, obviously he could bang. He was coming off a huge year in '06, so watching him hit was impressive. But as well, and in addition to, almost more so, like just how he saw the game and how he went about it for himself.
What kind of a captain was he, Murph? I mean, he wasn't a yeller or a screamer. A lot of stuff behind the scenes he used to do.
Yeah, yeah, and I think yelling and screaming and isn't isn't a prerequisite to leading and being a great leader. And David would speak when a situation needed to be said. And since he wasn't someone who was just going to impose himself all the time, that we knew, and at least I felt like whenever he did speak, this is something that he is really considered and thought about. He thinks it's really meaningful and it's in the best interest of all of us.
You
So
know,
here it comes.
yeah.
So yeah.
Let me tell you what he did for me.
Mhm.
Probably years when he went after the injury started him out. We used to sit in the left corner. It used to be me, DeGrom, David, and Steven Matz. I don't know. I think you were gone by that time in 15. And Jacob wasn't didn't love to do the interviews. He didn't love to do it, but he did them, and he
Mhm.
really did them because David said, "Jay's a decent guy. Do him." And that's how he helped me. We used to have
Mm.
little games. Remember the basketball net we had in the middle of the locker room? And
Yeah.
Jake would say, "I'll do some interviews for you, but you have to make 5 of 6 shots." I never made one shot. That's just an example of David knowing what was good for the team and what was good for somebody's career. He said, "Listen, you're in this market. you got to face the media, good or bad. I know he did that with you too, Murph. I mean, he advised you how to handle the media in the years.
Well, well, if you want to know how to act in the big leagues, watch David. Watch him play on the field. Watch him as a teammate off the field. Watch him as the face of a franchise in the birthplace of baseball, where baseball was born and bred and the biggest market in the world. So just watch him. And then at any point, if you ever wanted to ask David a question about anything, he was always going to give you a sincere and thoughtful answer. Now, I didn't have to do a lot of interviews, partly because they just didn't want to come to me. We weren't necessarily the best ball clubs over the years, but David advocated for all of us. And he stood at his locker because you want to get the viewpoint of the best player, and David was the best player. And he stood up for a lot of us
Do you
a
remember,
lot.
Murph? So your last year was 15, right? Uh,
Hmm.
how did you feel? How agonizing was it to see him play when the injuries, the neck, the back, the shoulder started to mount, and and then 15 really started to affect. He wasn't the same David Wright anymore. I mean, you saw him in the training room, in the weight room, three,
Hmm.
4, 5 hours to get ready for game. It was really hard to watch some days.
Yeah, I had two thoughts as you were asking that. One was I felt robbed personally that that he wasn't healthy enough to give us the second half of the career that after watching the first 10 years of his career. Like another watching David end his career in a healthy way, like I felt robbed of 6 or 7 or 8 or however many years he decided to play of like, that guy knows how to do it and he's good. And then to your second point about what he was willing to put himself through to try and get ready to help a team win started It started when most of us were waking up. Because I know David he's getting to the locker room 10, 11 o'clock in the morning for a 7 o'clock game. It's wild. Just to just to get in there so that he could go and post that night, try to help us win. Like he had a job to do. And I say job and with the utmost respect I could give it because he did his as best as he knew how, and he was damn good at it.
What one series? I'm gonna go back to August of 15. He just came off, a long stay on DL. You were filling in for him at third base, and I remember he was sitting in. It was I happened to be in Terry's office, Colin, and Terry and David said, "Listen, Skip, you guys are playing well. I don't need to play tonight. Work me in. I'm fine with it." And Terry said, "What are you crazy? You're batting fourth." I don't know if you remember that night. I think it was 7 or 8 home runs. Comes up in the second inning, boom,
Mm,
home home in left field. David Wright is back.
yeah, it gives me chills
I I,
because
I said it was
uh,
same thing, Murph. It got me chills thinking
it
about.
gives me chills right now as you say it. And he hit that ball in the upper deck. And like at first it speaks to David's selflessness. Like we're here to win. And then it takes the manager like Terry Collins to agree with him and say, "Yes, we are. That's why you're batting fourth tonight. Because we put the best players in the middle of the order."
Do you remember what happened the night before we come back from a trip to Colorado? We get into the West End of Philly about 4 or 5 in the morning, and
Mm.
this guy with uniform number 5 handing out warm chocolate chip cookies to us. But I had 3 or 4 months. I can't tell you. But of course, he didn't think the
Mm.
guys would remember him, so he wanted to get in uniform and say, "I'm David Wright. I'm here to play again."
Oh, that's David knows how to run the circuit. Like I think we rightly recognize we know who our best player is. We know who our captain is. And then him jokingly um recognizing I think that like you boys been going hard and good. It's time to get back in it together. You know what I mean? And so as hard as he had been working, we were working as hard ourselves, sorting out the circuit. And he was busting his butt to get back. And almost like a recognition, I think, from our captain to us and us to him, like, yeah, time to go. Glad you're back. Wish it was sooner.
Dan, in all the years you were with him, what was was there 1 or 2 things that you learned the most, or that guided you through your career? Any tips or advice that he gave you?
Yeah, they all boil down, I would say, in some capacity to his selflessness. Um, and his sincere desire to see his teammates and those around him do well. So I guess two, one will be on the field and one will be off the field, but I think both of them at their core, if I can explain it properly, speak to his humility and grace. Is that he would so Jeff Wilpon used to put on a golf tournament, if I'm not mistaken, each year. I know he'd put on a golf tournament on an off day, and David would always go out there, and it was an off day and he always wanted to go out and just support the Mets, support Jeff, and I think just paint the organization in the best light he could because he was a Met, and he would pick me up, and he'd always drive, and so then on the way back, and we'd get a chance to talk, and about Molly, whose birthday they're going to get to celebrate up in New York, and Tori and my family, and his father's a law enforcement, and I got the chance to meet Matt, and his brothers were in a fantasy football league, and we just got a chance to talk a little bit more than baseball. But one thing that just kind of I think maybe sums it up in the whole way, at the end of the trip, you get back into New York, like you can't always go right when you want to go right and left when you want to go left. So I'd say, hey, David, I'm a couple blocks from you. You know what I mean? When you go to drop me off, I'd say, just put me on the corner over there. It's like 2 blocks. I'll walk it. He goes, no, door to door service, door to door service. That's number five. And I'd say one of the last ones, or the last one that I think, and I use this, I stole it from him, is that he said, run the bases how you want them run for you. And it's like there's a real selfless act to run those bases as hard for someone else as you want them to be run for you, or you would run them for yourself. And so you want David Wright on first base if you need to score a run from first. If you got 99 RBIs and this 100th RBI gets you there and gets your team the pennant or the division, you want number five at first base trying to score.
Murph, what do you feel the home run in Game 3 of the World Series? After he went through to get his first World Series, hit a home run. I felt so happy for him. I still remember running around the bases because that meant a lot to him.
Yeah,
Culminated his comeback. It was good play again.
yeah, it meant a lot to us. I wish we would have swung the bat better so we'd have scored more runs. Like David swung the bat well in the World Series, and I think that was just here in the World Series in the biggest moment when we need a strike, because I think it was your Donnie Ventura, if I'm not mistaken, is who he got. I could be wrong, but I think it was him. Rest in peace. But like like David could ball. He just happened to get a chance to ball when it was the only game on that night, and we all got to enjoy it. And I think to your point, hopefully for him, it was like a real jewel that he can carry with him forever to have a World Series home run for all of the sacrifices he made to get there and have it happen and help lead us to the World Series.
Danny, what do you think you're going to feel on the 19th when you see his number go up there next to Keith, Gary, Willie Mays, Doc, and the guy you played through 10,
Mm.
15 years? What are you feeling going to be when you see the number 5 go up on the roof at City Field?
My first thought is well deserved. Well, very well deserved. And then emotionally, as I say that, gratitude that I got a chance to witness it and be a part of it and learn and have him give me some of his jewels and what he learned and his experiences. And then I'll probably look around and see, look at all these people who he's done it for as well. His teammates, coaches, players on the other team, the fans, like we're all gonna have a David Wright memory, probably memories that we're gonna carry with him about his selflessness
But let me tell
and
you, so
humility.
right now there are 20 people coming back to honor him. 3 general managers, 2 managers, and 2 coaches. I thought it was nice. I don't know if you were here then. Chip Hill is coming. He
Mm,
wasn't with us that long. He wants to be here. A guy like Jay Bruce, who called, he said, "Listen, I wasn't there that long. I want to be there to honor David." Mike,
mm.
Mike Cameron called. I want to be there to honor David. Like there's 20 people coming, and it really is a testament to him. The people who want to be there for him and tell you what kind of guy he is.
Yeah, no, I've said it a couple times, but I really like I get chills. Like David is just he really is so special. And the funny thing is like what little he watches of this, if he does sing us see us singing his praises. We'll make some crack about how great he thinks we are. And you know what I mean? And just he's just so good. He's just a good man and husband and father. And we can't wait, Tori and I, to get up there and celebrate him and his family.
What was your first reaction when they asked you to go in the booth with Gary? I know it'd be it'd be a special moment for you to be. There's nobody better to talk about David Wright than Daniel Murphy.
Oh, well, thank you for that. Um, Now I'm like, now I want to get prepared. I'm going to go back. I'm going to start digging into this guy's numbers again and tell the whole world because we need to. It's about time for him to get some more votes on the Hall of Fame as well too. As the Hall of Fame goes to I would say needing to reevaluate how they induct players. And once we do that, not once we do it, David's worthy for serious consideration. Now, I think his case will only grow as the game has gotten more
I
modernized.
hope so. Before we go, two Daniel Murphy moments. Could you believe, Murph? It's 10 years since the postseason of 2015. 6 home runs in 6 games, and 6 and 7. I mean, every other ball was a home run. Kershaw, all these great pitchers, Greinke. Can you believe it's 10 years ago? It's crazy, isn't it?
It doesn't feel like 10 years ago, but then I get a chance to see my kids and how big they've gotten, and just how wonderful it is to be around them and how they've grown. So, you know, yeah, it feels like 10, but then it doesn't. I think I'm trying to figure out what age I'll be when I think I can't like swing the bat a little bit because I think I could still mix it up with some of these high school guys around here. So
So
eventually,
let me talk about Danny. But you like the broadcasting part of it, Murphy? You're doing a couple more games. I know you don't want to be away from the family that much, but great reports and thorough and a different perspective. Is this something down the road? You think you'd like to keep pursuing, or right now just a little bit now when the kids are young?
yeah, I would say like first, yes, it is something I'd like to consider pursuing, and I'm on the menu for David, and not any other games just yet. And I guess a couple of things is I can't say how thankful I am enough to SNY and Gary Cohen and Ron and Keith for letting me come in there and talk ball with them because you could pick anyone, and I really do enjoy it. Gary has been so gracious in how he's helped me prepare and just the tips he's given. To be honest with you, it reminds me of how David tried to help me as I got into the big leagues, and Gary's helping me with another area of the big leagues and on the circuit. And so I kind of take them as they come. I'm gracious that they're offered. I hope the fans are enjoying it. I'm trying to get better. I promise. To bring some energy and hopefully bring something unique perspective to the fans. I guess I don't there are things that I see that I don't necessarily think are interesting, but as I talk to Gary and Ron, and it's like it's some of those things that we're able to see in the game that I wouldn't say come naturally, but that we kind of practice for that the fans enjoy. And so I'm hoping to get more moments like that, and couple that honestly with just a celebration of David and his career and family.
Before we close, we got to close with one negative thing about David. A couple of people tell me, especially Keith Miller, he's a lousy fantasy football player. True or not true?
Untrue. Untrue. A bit of, to be honest with you, I would say, and I just a little peek behind the curtain, maybe of our fantasy league, and I love Millsy as well because he's in it. Is that David got some tough luck last year. He had some early injuries and ended up trading me, funny enough, Jamar Chase for Rasheed Rice. And it was kind of a part of a different deal, but that was like the bulk of it. He needed a tight end. He was 0-3 and needed to make a move. And I actually thought it was absolutely the best move. He would have really won the trade completely if Rasheed doesn't get hurt because it got David the win or two that he needed. But no, David is a good fantasy football player. He is awesome to negotiate with, but is just such a tough negotiator because he prefers not to or can't lose a trade. And so I enjoy my trade discussions and fantasy football talk with David because he
Uh,
knows what's up.
last question: how are the Jaguars going to do this year?
We can't do better. We can't do. I would say. Let me be improvement on last year. Like I am excited about our new general manager, no doubt, our only Hall of Famer, Tony Baselli, and the new GM and head coach. But we also set the bar pretty low last year, and so we ought to be beating that at least. And we
What's
play in a pretty
my guy
stinky division.
Jackson? Are you a Jackson Dart fan?
I think what's not, yeah. I mean, today, if you give him some reps and see.
Murph, I can't wait to see you. And I'm sure you do great on TV. And it's been a pleasure being friends with you and Tori and the gang for so many years. I look forward to seeing you in New York soon.
All right, Jay.
Thanks.
Really good to be on here. It's good
You're,
to see you.
you're the best, Murph. Thanks, my friend. Thanks, Daniel. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye.